Next up, we have Dave Reeves, Managing Director of Calidus. Dave is a mining engineer with an extensive operations and management career spanning over 30 years within the minerals and mining industry. He is the founding Managing Director of Calidus and has been instrumental in the discovery, exploration and development of the Warrawoona Gold Project. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Difficult word to say that, especially late at night. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Wonderful to be here again. It's been an exceptionally busy year for Calydus in the last year as Australia's newest gold producer, and with the thematics you've heard recently, inflation, world worries, we're really excited about where gold is going and the fact that we're a brand new gold producer, lower cost. But also since I last spoke, we've done an opportunistic strike into lithium in the Pilbara. I'm very excited about what we're seeing there and fully support the thematic you've also heard on decarbonisation, battery metals, etc. So for those that don't know much about Calidus, just a very quick intro. We've begun production of our stage 1 at Warrawoona, 90,000 ounces per annum, ramp up going really well. Feasibility will be out shortly for stage 2, that's where we'll expand Warrawoona to 130,000 ounces per annum and be a significant gold producer within Western Australia. In addition to that, we own 50% of a private company called Lithium that's had early success exploring for lithium in nearby leases in the Pilbara. Quick corporate snapshot, just under 300 million market cap, so certainly we believe with the assets we've got, plenty of room for upside for shareholders. Really supportive register, in particular Alkane has been there, Alkane Resources, around 10% for quite a few years. Board and management, seasoned veterans, they might not appreciate that comment, but really the experience we've got in that team is second to none, and great skill diversity from environment through project finance, production, and in particular our personnel on site, incredibly experienced and are doing a sensational job for us and shareholders on site. All of what we've done and what we plan to do is irrelevant without a social licence to operate. On our first field trip to have a look at Warrawoona before we transacted, Kate George, one of our directors, came up on the environmental side and we had a look at everything from day dot. We see it as a core value, maybe before ESG became a catchphrase, and we're very proud of what we've achieved to date. We're currently developing a solar farm with battery. We've got a fully operational cyanide destruct. We've got a good public-private partnership going with the Shire, redeveloping the Marble Bar Airport, no disturbance of heritage sites. We contribute to offset funds. We've got areas set aside for wildlife protection, and certainly it's a theme that we see as a core value, and we look forward to progressing on our journey ahead. Briefly, where we are with stage 1 and 2, or what they look like. 90,000 to 130,000 ounces. Our feasibility set around $1,300 an ounce. We are seeing cost inflation, which I'll take you through, and I'll take you through a bit more on the Blue Spec project there in more detail, and that's what I really want to focus on, is where we are now and what we're planning to achieve as our first gold bar slowly pours out on the side there. I suppose, reminiscing a bit, a year ago, or just under a year ago, this was a site at Warrawoona, very much early stage construction, mining hadn't kicked off, versus where we are today. We have a fully functional and operating gold plant producing gold bars. Contractors have done a sensational job, along with our team up on site, to deliver this on time and on budget in rather challenging conditions. Very much conventional gold project that you'd see in the goldfields around here. Done by GR Engineering, crush, grind, gravity, CIL, produce gold doré on site and ship it out. Plant is performing well. We're up to 2.4 million tonnes per annum now. We see some easy de-bottlenecking ahead and taking that up further as well as some potential upside. McMahon's are our mining contractor. They're now fully mobilised, all the kit on site, fully manned up. Starting to hit the cubes that we need to see. And originally we did have a hill here, as you see now, very much opened up the area, quite a flat area. We're not quite into the pit, we're still taking it down to ground level, And in the distance you see, as we're taking down the next hill, getting ready to prepare that part of the pit, and the Towers Dam in the distance. But very much an operating mine site as we see today. If we look at where we are, June we reported recently just did under 9,000 ounces poured and over 1,000 ounces gold in circuit for just over 6 weeks since first gold pour, so very happy with that. I'm very pleased to also report, and sleeping more soundly, that cash flow positive in June from those operations, so that's fantastic. And first debt repayment was also made in June, so a very busy June quarter. We hope to be in commercial production later this quarter, at which point we'll give you full guidance for the year ahead. We are seeing inflationary pressures, mainly in mining, and that's to do mainly with diesel, labour and explosives. But all up, we're guiding 10 to 20% increase from those feasibility numbers of 2 years ago. If we look at stage 2, which is Blue Spec, Blue Spec sits about 75 kilometres distant from our main operation at Warrawoona. It's a very high-grade satellite underground deposit that was mined by Anglo in the 70s at 16 grams a tonne. We've been doing some drilling, geotech, and well and truly finalising the feasibility now. This will be a small-scale underground mine. We'll be trucking it back to Warrawoona, a separate float plant. This is gold antimony, and we're producing concentrate with the tails going into our CIL, so we maximise gold recovery. Antimony is becoming quite an interesting metal. It's listed as a critical mineral. The price is almost doubled since we picked this project up, and it certainly is a major contributor to revenue going forward. And if you look at our gold payables on that concentrate, and you take in that antimony byproduct revenue, we get over 105% payable on our gold revenue. So certainly a very handy byproduct and very attractive economics. Deposits are open down dip. We've done some drilling out to the east at Blue Spec East, and recently we saw some bigger, wider intercepts over 50 metres at 1.5 grams up near surface, potential for open pit that we need to follow up on, and we certainly see Blue Spec being a great contributor going forward. When we talk about going forward and contributions, talked about an 8-year mine life. This mine is going to go a lot longer than that. We've only taken the underground down to 250 metres below surface, and most West Australian mines are touching 1 kilometre. We did a few wildcat holes in the past. We know the grade's continuing at depth. We need to understand a little bit more about chute geometry over this 2.5 kilometre pit that we've defined, and we certainly see that underground going for many years to come. In addition, we stopped drilling out to the east as we moved into pre-feasibility. We'll be following up some of the intercepts out there, and we do certainly expect to see that pit grow to the east as well, again providing more mine life. We've got a good tenement holding in the region. Marble Bar just nearby, another gold field. We did some recent drilling, a couple of metres at 8, a couple of metres at 6 near surface, so we'll be following up on that. Certainly around that main Klondike trend, we'll be looking for more opportunities there. And there are a lot of stranded deposits in our area, and as the only modern mill in the area, we see that as a real opportunity to go and add to our mine life as well by transacting on those satellite deposits. Today we put out a release about the soils we've been doing out to the west of that high-grade Blue Spec deposit. Very excited geologists at the moment in the office and actually in the field. They've been following up in the last week or two on these soils. The alteration, structural complexity, everything's lining up as we would expect near those higher grade soils. So we're moving quickly on to POWs, getting heritage clearances, because we do see that as a compelling target that needs following up and can certainly add some critical mass to our Blue Spec operation. Touching on lithium, I know there was a bit of a downturn recently, but without a doubt, last day and a half in the booth, there is still enormous interest, especially from strategics, in lithium and what's going on. We had a look at our tenement holding. We saw people exploring for lithium around. We knew we were in the right neighbourhood. We had a look at other tenements near us, and Hayoma Mining, a private company that we've done deals with in the past, also had some interesting looking ground. So we had a chat and we said, let's put our tenements together, get some critical mass, and go exploring for lithium. So we did that earlier this year, and our tenement holdings were targeted around the Split Rock Super Suite, which is the engine room of lithium in the Pilbara. That's where you need to be. And certainly also we're around old tin tantalum mining areas. That's another, if you look at all the existing mines, they were previous tin tantalum mines. So Spear Hill, Muliella, up near Global Lithium, and their Archer deposit, these were key areas we wanted to get onto the ground very quickly and follow up on. So we did that, and within a couple of months, about 2 to 3 months, we'd outlined just over 4 kilometres of outcropping lithium pegmatite already at Spear Hill. We've done some scout drilling. We are awaiting those results and hope to get them in the next couple of weeks. Very early days, we've really just scratched the surface, probably covered off 10 square kilometres of ground here of our 1,000 square kilometres of holding. There's a lot of other work to do here that needs following up. And that's one of the reasons we're looking to demerge this later this year or early next year and distribute the shares in Pyrrha to our shareholders. We feel that there are strategics out there. It will require a reasonable amount of funding to turn this towards the potential of a mine. We've got a lot of uses for our cash flow with our expansion plans, and as such, we will be demerging that into a separate entity later this year. So that's a very quick rundown of where we are. It really is a very simple story. Stage 1, 90,000 ounce per annum up and running, heading into commercial production this quarter, cash flow positive already, looking at tweaking the mill up a bit on that stage 1 as we develop stage 2, as we head to that 130,000 ounce per annum. That feasibility study will be out this quarter. Permitting will take probably into early next year. It's a little slower at the moment than we would have liked, but that will be ready to develop early next year. We'll be getting on the ground, regional exploration, lots to follow up, lots of drilling to be done, looking at those stranded satellite deposits, seeing what we can bring in to add to Warraweena's mine life. In addition, obviously, continuing with the lithium exploration drill results coming out. We do have dedicated geos out in the field, mapping and sampling away. So we'll see how we progress with that over the coming year, getting the documentation ready, tax advice, etc., to demerge that and get that into shareholders' hands. And certainly we don't intend to stop there. We do see a pipeline ahead of us. We don't want to be a single asset producer. We do believe as you de-risk a company through adding in an additional operation, you get more value, you're less discounted. We are already looking around at what we can put our skills to. We hopefully have convinced the market that we can develop a project on time, on budget and seamlessly, and we certainly want to look at applying those skills in the future and expand Calydus into a significant gold producer in Australia. We're at the booth for the next couple of days. Love to have a chat if anyone wants to follow up with any other questions, and thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, Dave. We've got a couple of minutes to make up, so we won't have time for questions, so we can get you to lunch on time. But yeah, stop by the booth if you have any questions for Dave.